It's 6 o'clock, so we'll just get going. And people, as they come in, will just can, I guess, do introductions at the end. So my name is Alex. So Tom, you were asking me like why this meeting came about, and I think the reason is I see so much potential in Lexington, and I think if we put our heads together, we can do a lot. A friend of mine who came through the property because he was interested in the Lexington house gave me this book. It's Strong Towns, and Strong Towns is about the how to create growth through small bets, through incremental growth, not necessarily taking big bets that if they fail end up costing a lot of heartache. Whereas taking small incremental bets is the way our ancestors built towns, built villages, and they built resilient places. And that's kind of what this idea is about. Okay, so we're just getting started. I was just pointing out, potentially we can do this on a weekly basis. I think it's great to connect neighbors to neighbors and kind of see what comes out of these conversations. Let's see if.
Can we meet everyone? Who is everybody?
Yeah. So I can do some introductions as far as I know them, and or maybe introduce at will, I guess.
We're Jill and Tom, and we live in Lexington, and we also have a place in Brooklyn. And we've been interested in Lexington and the Lexington house for quite a while. We kind of looked into it ourselves at one point. And now we're just really interested in kind of helping develop or look into what direction you're going and to see if we can help out with that and facilitate that. And I have an art gallery in Brooklyn. I had one for about 7 years. So it just recently, we closed last year. So I wouldn't mind kind of doing something up here in that realm, actually, starting another gallery.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that, an art gallery.
Yeah.
And Tom, I understand you're an engineer, correct?
That's right, a structural engineer.
Structural, very cool. And Clyde, you were just telling me about your dance and dance education.
Yeah, my name's Clyde, and I am a dancer and choreographer. I have a company called Locus Barsha Dance Projects, and I teach independently, although I've also taught in university settings. I moved up to this region in 2005, and I've lived in various places within the region, and have really pretty much shifted my base of operations up here, although I still have obviously, connections to the dance community in the city, but I'm always looking for new organizations that are forming, organizations to partner with up here, because if there's one thing I've discovered over the last 15 years, it's that, if we don't share resources and do things together, it's not going to happen if everybody's trying to do their very own, discrete thing. So I'm curious to know what's going on and to see what part of it I could be, especially bringing dance to the community as a way to build community.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I'm Marissa. I'm living in Stamford right now, and I'm helping out at the Catskills Art Center. I have a background in arts administration and theater, so I'm interested to see what happens with all these theater spaces in Lexington and how they can come to life again.
Thank you, Marissa.
I'm Roman. I'm Alex's friend, I guess, and partner. We're doing some projects together in Lexington. So
thank you, Roman.
My name is Oriana. My husband and I bought a place in Lexington 2.5 years ago, and just immediately loved the community and started, meeting some people at the farmers market, and we've been there about half time, I'd say, other time in Brooklyn, but we really kind of got settled in Lexington. I'd say this over COVID, we moved there from solid from April to September, which was really quite wonderful to see what it felt like to live in the area full time, and just got to know it more, dig our roots in, and just be on our property, and just really fall in love with it more and more. We're there, and it's just a special place. It just has that town the town center has a great energy, and just trying to learn more about the history. And I've not been able to stop, but I've seen you set up there and saw the truck and started to get interested, because I kept saying, what is someone going to do with these buildings and what's going to happen? And I've, you know, looked around on the website, but on the town website, but wasn't sure what was going on, and, you know, didn't want to poke around where I wasn't wanted, but also wanted to learn more. And then after kind of feeling like I belonged there this far, I wanted to, you know, help out or just learn more and just be a part of the community. So super excited to see that you were putting this Zoom out tonight and just connect with people. I've been joined a few Zooms with the Mountaintop Progressives and got to know a few people through that, but wanted to reach out further to your group.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think I've met more people from Brooklyn in Lexington than in Brooklyn.
Right?
So
Totally.
Thank you very much, Ariana. Anybody else would like to speak?
Hi, everybody. Oh. I'm Kripa, and I'm actually living in one of those buildings and having a great time. I'm, of course, looking forward to what happens of this place. I am so excited and curious. Yeah.
Can I say a few words about you also, because I know a few things? Yeah. Thank you. So Kripa is she's an Ayurvedic practitioner. She's staying in our farmhouse, which is, it's actually a farmhouse and it's not really well insulated. So I admire her gumption for being there, but it is a beautiful place, and there's a nice fireplace. So I think she takes advantage of that. But so fantastic. Thank you, Kripa. Appreciate that. I think she'll be involved with us in a few things maybe going forward. So we're excited about that as well. I believe Maeve McCool, would you like to say anything? Hi.
Yeah, so I'm just joining in. I saw that Nancy posted about this, so I thought I'd just come see what's happening. I am the grants coordinator at Create Council in the Arts, so we're the regional council for Greene, Schoharie, and Columbia counties, and I run our NISCA regrant program. So just interested to see what's happening in the county, and and hoping that I can help promote or help in some way.
That's huge. Thank you very much, Maeve. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping in. And yeah, we'd love all the help we can get. Anybody else would like to speak?
Say something. Just really happy to welcome Alex and his team to the Mountaintop. And we met a little while ago. I'm Nancy, for those of you who don't know me, and Marissa and I are running the Prattsville Arts Center. Some of our board members are here, and we've been working on kind of rebuilding an older building that's not as ambitious as what Alex is taking on, but it's been 9 years and we've had some really great experiences and also a lot of great learning experiences. So it's really exciting to see some of the things that are spreading throughout the top of the mountain and all the people that are starting to move and sort of take advantage of the beauty and the resources in the area. And I'm really hoping that, you know, we can pull together and create something really special so that as the area does begin to develop, it doesn't simply turn into another sort of gentrification nightmare, that there are really positive things that we can do through the community and for the community that's coming. So it's really exciting to see so many people that we know here, and we really look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Yeah, so if I may say a few words of admiration about you, Nancy is has done so much work in Prattsville and has made so many connections in Prattsville, and is a role model and an example for us and the organization that we're trying to create. So a collaboration with Prattsville Arts Center is both an honor and very exciting for us as well. So I think it'll bear a lot of fruit. So we are excited about that. Thank you, Nancy. I see Robert and Bo.
Yes, I am Bo Ripnick. I am Alex's neighbor, and it's really a pleasure to see art come back. I was one of those little kids years and years ago doing theater theater in the River Theater, which is no longer here, or going to hear music or dance up at the barn. So I remember probably Gen 2 of the thing. There was a few decades before I came along. It's really nice to see that you're developing things. Creepa, I can't wait to meet you. I'll have to pop in and say hi if you're there. Marissa and forgive me, I forgot your name, who just spoke.
Nancy Barton.
Nancy. I'm Bo, the CBD queen. So my husband is the beekeeper and I do the CBD infused honey. I'm also a writer. I actually just started a Facebook page to continue writing. You people have inspired me, so thanks. And I am probably going to be your biggest super fan, so please art and go for it.
Bo, thank you so much for that. Yeah, we also have a huge admiration for you as well, and I love everything that you're doing. And Bo's honey is without parallel. It's delicious, and
That's
Bo
my
has.
husband. That's all him. He gets the chops.
And Bo has a lot of experience. I know you mentioned a while back that you did a massive catering job for Fish, right? At some point.
I've done production work. We did the Clifford Ball and a few after that. So I was feet on the ground and I fed probably, what was it? Was it 100,000 a day? So we made it work. I'm a big fan of music production. I've done that for a lot of years. Not just with Fish, but you name it, and I've done it. I just happen to have a little family tie-in with Fish. So when they decided to do their first big one, they had no clue what they were doing, and they were hoping that the people that they put in place knew what they were doing. They didn't either, but somehow when you pull together, you know, oh my God, I have to fix this. I forgot duct tape. Well, you're in the kitchen, and some guy in the kitchen goes, I got duct tape. So, you know, sometimes we run by the seat of our pants in production. I've learned that.
Yeah, I think, and the duct tape analogy is probably a great idea in terms of what I was talking about before, in terms of small steps. I think if we kind of duct tape things together, we can keep what works and discard what doesn't, and I think make a lot of cool things happen.
Exactly.
Thank you, Bo. Appreciate that. I see Robert, and I believe I know you as Bird Thrower.
Hey, hi, everybody. I've been living in Prattsville for part-time for about 10 years. And Nancy is my hero. I'm really excited about you guys showing up down the road. Take your time. It's going to be great.
Awesome. If you get a chance to check out his music, Robert's it goes by Bird Thrower, and it's beautiful guitar music. I've been listening to it and jam along. So
thank you
too. Thanks. I see. Is that Maddie? Hey, Maddie. How are you doing? Good evening.
How are you?
Good. Nice to see you. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, name's Matt, as it says here. I grew up in Lexington, not too far from the Scary Creek Bridge, so I was right around all that stuff and kind of watched it lose its life at the time. So I'd love to see it be revitalized, be a part of it if I can.
You do a lot of photography work, I think, right?
I do, yes.
Right. Thank you, Matt.
Tom, have you spoken about what you're doing in the area?
Oh, yes, thank you. I was wondering, I might have come a couple minutes late, and I don't know much about your what how this started and what you need and that kind of stuff, the background.
Well, Tom is an engineer who had an interest in these buildings some time ago, and I was so thrilled to see that Alex had taken this on. Tom has built an amazing house in the back hills above County Route 2, and Jill and Tom have been here for quite a while, and they're really amazing people. So I thought it would be great. It's wonderful to see you here and to see this kind of you kind of like seeing what's happening and seeing what kind of role we can all play as we go forward together. Do you want to introduce yourself, or did you do that already?
Yeah, a few years ago, I did take an interest in the Lexington House. And well, as a structural engineer, I knew that it needed a lot of work, and I was really dismayed that it was progressing to deteriorate. And I was very happy when I heard that Alex and his group had purchased that whole property, and hopefully we'll be able to curtail any additional deterioration and try to really develop it into something great. But I'm certainly available for any kind of engineering expertise that you might need for the project. I helped out Nancy a little bit with the theater in Prattsville as well, which was almost as challenging as I think that the Lexington House will be.
Well, almost. Update you on that. We are now getting convinced to elevate the building. So I just finished a FEMA application for matching funds, and we have a CWC grant going forward to do engineering design for the project. So we will probably be talking to you again soon. But this summer we'll be working with the artists from Airlift to continue developing the backspace of the Art Center as a performance space that is interactive with musical elements. So these artists from New Orleans who went through the flood there and rebuilt their space out of dilapidated buildings are going to be coming, and I'm looking forward to having them meet with this group and talk about their experiences of rebuilding a flood damaged community. We got an NEA Our Town grant to work with them, and they're very interested in collaborating with the community and learning more. So looking forward to having them, and hopefully if COVID rescinds, we'll have our music festival, the community again, and learning more. So looking forward to having them, and hopefully if COVID rescinds, we'll have our music festival again the end of this summer.
Right.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that, Tom and Nancy. I see I see Jamie Richards. Jamie, would you like to say anything?
Oh,
I also see.
Hi. I know Bo, my old neighbor. I ran Lexington Center for the Arts for Ensemble Studio Theater for many years, and I have a great love for the property. I've been up there, and Alex and I spoke for 2 hours, and then we spoke again for 2 hours recently. And so I have a great love, and I'd like to help Alex go forward with this project in any way I possibly could. So I love Lexington. It's part of my life, and so that's me.
I understand, Jamie, you're working on your own theater project. Is that correct?
I am. I'm working on a few things, and Alex and I spoke about how we could maybe get involved, bring EST back a little bit. And Alex, this is news to you, but I have spoken to some of the groups I talked to you about, like Youngblood at EST, and there's definitely interest. So cool. when we're ready and we're not stuck at COVID, we will hopefully be back up there, which I would love to be. So I'm glad to know everybody there, and I'm looking forward to seeing you up there. And Bo, hi, if you're still here, hi, I miss you.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Appreciate it. I see Marlene Martin. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, you already met me because you know my name. Hi, sorry I'm on the still shot, but I just rushed in from the Catskill. I'm Marlene Martin. I'm the executive director of the Greene County Council on the Arts, who is doing business of Create Council on the Arts. We are a supporter and of Prattsville Arts Center, and we do fund the Prattsville through our Green County Initiative program. We also do some re-granting for the New York State Council on the Arts. And maybe some of you attended our grant sessions, and my grants manager, I believe, is on the call as well, Maeve McCool. Since I've been there, you know, Nancy has just been always a great supporter, and always is looking to build community around arts. And I just love the work that I see coming out of there, and wanted to be a part of the conversation and to see how we can help build and become more diverse in our own programming and support what's going on in the far regions of the county. Thank you.
The nether regions, yeah, we're pretty remote. I'm glad Greene County remembers us there. I know they've been supportive though, so thank you very much for that.
You're gonna wish you were even more remote someday.
Sorry,
I said you're gonna wish you were even more remote someday.
No, I think we appreciate that it is. It's like that's part of the attraction, right? It's a completely different atmosphere than most other places that I know. I see John Halpern. John, we're introducing ourselves to the group. Would you like to say anything?
Alex, Emily and I are just driving the truck, but
sure,
we feel like we're just like landed right in the middle of this, and we feel very much at home and activators.
That's true. So I can introduce you a little bit. John Halpern and Emily run something called the Tuning Fork and the Institute for Cultural Activism, and interview extremely interesting people every Tuesday, Tuesday night, Tuesday 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we did the first film screening, socially distanced, of Joseph Bouy's film that John Halpern produced in 1979, I think it was. It was a great opportunity for a few people to come together in the Barn Theater that Jamie, you know so well, that hosted a lot of other productions. I think it was the first time it was used in about 15 years. We were very excited. We want to keep doing those things. So thank you very much for that, John. Appreciate that. I know John's films are beautiful and impressive. So.
Well, Alex, you know, the other thing was that the sketches, you know, the cultural activist sketches, the utopian, what was it called? Scenarios. What? Utopian scenarios. Okay.
Yes.
That was a little performance we did, which I hoped, you know, we can revisit someday, because you're doing your part for that utopian scenario in Lexington, and we very much want to, you know, nurture that and be part of that with you.
I think that's great. I think let's revisit it and let's keep building this utopia and make it one that does not fail. I think we have a chance. I see somebody else. So I see Gabby and I see Nancy. We've been introducing ourselves.
Hey, this is Nancy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. I just joined, so I sorry I missed the start. I thought it was at 7, but anyway, I have a home in Lexington. I'm a second homeowner there, and I'm just curious. I know that you guys are starting some activity, and I would love to see more art and cultural activities in Lexington. So interested to hear what you guys have in mind and how I can contribute. So
fantastic.
Nice to meet everybody.
You as well. Thank you so much, Nancy. That's great. And we'll talk more about that, I'm sure. I guess, so I see Joseph and Gabby. Would either of you like to say anything?
Hi, Alex. Can you hear me?
Hi, Gabby. Yes.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I don't have a photo.
It's all right.
Well, how should we introduce ourselves?
I'll introduce you for you if you'd like. So Gabby and Sam are good friends of ours. They're an architect duo. They live in Yulka Park, and they have a spectacular eye for design, and they love to actually do craft. And they are working on this beautiful, tiny A-frame tent experimental design concept that we'll have on display at Lexington Arts Science in the early spring. So
apropos, so we have like a little shop set up in the store next to the Lexington post office, where we are building this mini A-frame, but we would actually love some help. So if anyone on this call is interested in helping us or knows someone, so it's basically a modular passive house, which in the form of the traditional A-frame, and we have done 3 panels so far, like Sam and I, but we need to finish another 6 to be able to put that structure on Alex's property. So if anyone, and we would of course pay an hourly.
So I can put out another call for that later on as well, to see if anyone's interested in carpentry work and design build. Thank you very much, Gabby.
Thank you.
All right, so
Alex.
I can do some speaking right now and kind of explain what we're doing, where we're at, and what we're thinking, the future. The reason why I decided to do this phone call is actually because a new friend of mine who I made through the property, who is actually interested in Lexington House, because it does grab a lot of attention. He is an architect who has become more focused on town planning. His name is Ivan Hinneman. He lives with his family up near Parksville. He is very focused on sustainability, and he gave me this book. It's Strong Towns. Strong Towns espouses the notion that small and incremental changes are really the healthiest way to build community and build development, as opposed to American pattern development, which has been typically take out a large sum of money, create future obligations, build a giant thing and hope people come, and then the development tends to depreciate over 30 years, and then it's left to abandon, essentially. And so the ideas in Strong Towns really inspired me to have this conversation, because there are a lot of things we can do as a group of people, because there are so many, such a variety of talented people who are interested not only in Lexington House, but really in Westkill, in Prattsville, in Lexington, in developing strong towns, essentially. I'm very cognizant of the fact that our building and the buildings across the road really went into disrepair because the entities that own them weren't really interested in using them, and kind of they became forgotten. And Jamie can attest to this. Jamie was closely associated with Ensemble Studio Theater, who's the prior owner who we purchased the property from. We, as my wife and I, and we have some experience in renovating properties, not at this scale, but we were up to the challenge. So Pao, my wife, is also right now taking care of our baby. Our baby is 1 month old, and another motivation for this phone call is that we want to raise our baby in a great village. And Lexington is a great place already, and I think there's so much more potential that we have. Able to introduce each other, introduce ourselves to each other, and kind of it does give a taste of the broad and deep set of skills and talents that people have to share. I can talk about what Lexington Arts Science is doing, but I think there's enough. I believe that everybody here should answer questions, because this kind of, my initial idea for the format of this was to kind of talk first and then have people introduce afterwards. But I think it makes sense, just this free flowing thing that we have going on. I would like this that can be a weekly thing. And I think it is a really nice way to connect neighbors. I'm happy to keep introducing and moderating it.
I did miss the beginning of the meeting, so I would like to just have a better understanding of.
Yeah, and I don't know much
the
either. I would love any background, but if that needs to be a separate conversation because it's important for others, that's fine too.
No, I mean, no, that's fine. This meeting is only till 7. So regardless of what happens, we're going to close it off before 7. But I'll tell you about what our intention was when we purchased the property and kind of how that developed. So I grew up on Long Island. Since we were kids, we'd always come up to the Catskills. Having a place up here was always a dream. So when we kind of followed this property market, and a lot of time passed, and finally there was a moment when we were able to do it, and the kind of stars aligned for us. I went to NYU, spent time in New York, the late 90s. I'm a lawyer and a biologist, and this project for me ticks dreams of a place and a venue for things to happen. I love making things. I'm constantly doing that. So by extension, I want to make this a place that offers those things for everybody. We bought the property in late 2019. And so the past year, we were kind of exploring and kind of understanding what the property layout was. And as you go through this property, because of the deep history it has, we will discover like structures and old sculpture. And I just learned there's a Colombian artist who did, we are Colombian, my wife and I was born here, she was born there. But there was a Colombian artist, very well known, on the meadow. And I'd always wondered what those rocks were. And like, you know, we might have just, it's a bit of an archaeological site sometimes. So, like rocks that you think don't belong there turn out to be some history of those. And I think it makes sense to kind of move slowly. The idea behind strong towns is great because it speaks to this incremental nature of what to do. By and large, when people have approached to encourage it, and I think I've said yes to every one of those ideas, and each one of those ideas has really been a connector for the community, I think positive for Lexington. And a few of those examples are, so there was a food project, and then it turned into a cookie truck for Diana Apostolikos, who's an explant from the city. She is a pastry chef and basically started her own small business in front of like acting value. It really is, it's the only place in town where you can spend $1. And it's great that it creates a job for her, create a lot of interest in the property. Barton and Prattsville Art Center and a few of the artists that she helps to organize have done some work inside of the Lexington House in the winter. I'm excited to see the output of that creative project that was and just another example of it's the first time in 15 years that art has been done in the property, and it's kind of again this sort of incremental nature of development and keeping what worked. I can talk more about projects that we have ideas going forward, and I'm also kind of journaling them on the website. But last summer, Eager, an artist, got involved with the properties across the river, which is Lexington Hotel, the post office property. There's a few others scattered about, including an old barn and things. And have created a situation in terms of revitalizing the entire town, which is increasingly exciting. And of that collaboration with Nancy's collaboration with Patrick Meager and our own coordination, hence this phone, there's a lot of possibilities for the community to get involved. For example, Clyde and your dance project, and I was mentioning there's another ballet school. There's the Barn Theater is actually perfect, and there have been a lot of dance projects there in the past, a lot of competitions. It's a great opportunity for people who are now spending more time in the area to have productions there and to continue with projects they might have started elsewhere. And I think that's what our property can really be for the community, can sort of anchor a lot of new creative development. I think that's kind of in a nutshell what we're doing.
Yeah, I have a question. When you refer to the property, what is it exactly? How much property? What is it?
Sure. It's so south of Bridge, you have the Lexington House, which is on the corner. Across the
Right.
road, there's also a little throw style shack that was done by an artist named Mark Dion. That's over the Shahari Creek.
Mark, is that
So
Mark
there's a few
Dion who
buildings on the
does
creek
the
side.
the
And then,
cubes of river sludge? Yeah.
that's him.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It had a strong attraction
Yeah.
to me as a biologist because the purpose of that artwork was meant, it looks like a shed, and it does, but it was built in 1995 in the same manner as a building would have been built in 1880. Rules required for exploring the watershed region. So you have all these field guides inside, and like Mark Dion does, he collects all these, he creates a persona by the artwork that suggests the the structure would be. And so there's a lot of field guides, there's butterfly nets, all these, it feels like a miniature version of the natural history. So there's that building, and then across the road there's a farmhouse, and then some barracks that were used to house kids. It was a summer camp for children, and then places were used as practice studios as well as dormitories. And then I mentioned the Barn Theater, which is 120 seats. It was actually used for serious theater production. So there's all like lighting racks and a stage and theater seating. So that's
What about
pretty
the
much
land? I'm just curious, how big a piece of land is it? I have no concept situation is.
Sure. Yeah, it's about 30 acres. About 13 acres is forest, and then there's like a 2-acre meadow, sort of grassy.
Right. I went to an EST production there. I dropped a friend of mine, an actor, off there 25 years ago, and it was a beautiful, clearly.
Love that.
Yeah. Joe Taylor. You know Joe Taylor?
Joe Taylor's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Yes. He's
Yeah.
one of my best friends. Wait, what
Hell no.
production? Do you remember?
But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Taylor.
Cool. Yeah, so that's the story. One of the purposes of this call actually also is to coordinate people who may be interested. So I don't know the best way to connect people in this phone call who might have synergies and want to continue talking with each other, but we'll figure that out. And the other thing is, I think like something as simple as setting up a pickup kickball game or something along those lines as in the town that that could be put to good use creatively. And it's just a matter of approaching the town, and the town is very open and eager to help in any way they can. And so I think that this organizing conversation that leads to things like maybe we want to do a flea market in town or something like an artisan show, or like I said, a pickup game of basketball. We can figure out where to put a hoop. I know the field in the middle of town, which is water. I know that field would be a great place to have a soccer game. And the town is okay with it. I was told, Joanne Schemmerhorn, the supervisor, told me that, sure, whatever, like do. If anybody has any business ideas, I'm like, if anyone has ideas, yes, Clyde, you can drop your email in the chat as well.
Alex,
That's fine, if you'd like.
Go ahead, please. Excuse
Go
me.
ahead, please.
I was going to say, one of the things we did, Alex, that was really fun was we had a rummage sale on the lawn, and we let the town come, or you could buy a table, or you could just sell your stuff, and it got kind of the whole town involved. And we brought a ton of stuff up from New York, and we sold cookies or whatever, hot dogs, whatever, like sort of a fun kind of, you know, an afternoon when it warms up a little bit, praying that it does. So, you know, something like that, like on the corner, and they stop and they look at the house, as you know, which is why your food truck was so brilliant. So people drive around the corner on a weekend and they will stop and get out of the car, and they will come and look at the house and then ask questions. So
sure.
That's what I thought.
That's a great idea. I like that. And that's exactly the sort of idea, Jamie, like if you want to spearhead that idea and gather bodies to help, maybe the best way to coordinate that thank you for that idea.
So, Alex?
John?
If you don't mind, by the way, thank you. I noticed that Nancy Barton's here. Emily and I have been scrolling through this iPhone, and we see, hi, Nancy, and thank you for Boys Transformer film, Nancy. And we hope to come up to Prattsville and have a broadcast there, tuning for a broadcast one of these weeks. Alex and friends, the Institute for Cultural Activism, we're also developing a residency network of places where artists can retreat, or in particular cultures like Italy. We have one location, a friend in North Carolina, where we just visited. She has an exquisite and authentic log cabin there from the 1920s. And perhaps might be worth exploring. And another of our projects is based on a prize-winning project that I led in Switzerland with the Swiss government. A cookie you can eat, and produced and sold by unemployed people. And so when you take a bite, you change the economy idea. Consumers are the producers of the future. Was you or friends in the area in the region know whether or not there might be some infrastructure to create a bakery that might produce not necessarily the same shape cookie, but a cool object, designed explicitly to honor and celebrate labor. My cookie was the shape of a hand, so the metaphor, biting the hand that feeds you, idea, and that these margins, it's a crisis, and I'm wondering what the status is up there in terms of the economy, local economy, worklessness, young people looking for work. I think Nancy and trigger points, talk about that might eventually activate some deeper engagement.
Yeah.
We invite, Emily and I invite everyone to attend our tuning from around the world and to explore our website, which we need deep in once we have funds to hire a developer. So that's all I want to contribute without taking more of everyone's time.
Thank you very much, Sean. I like the hand-shaped cookie idea. And in fact, I think that's great.
Donuts. I'm eating donuts.
We can do more donuts. That's great. And we do have, so in terms of infrastructure, town basically in Lexington is zoned hamlet and encourages mixed use. So my understanding is that all the residential property there could be used as business storefront as well, which kind of increases the, I imagine a main street where you kind of stroll down, which was the case in 1885. If you were there, there would be 2 bars to go to across the river from each other, dancing. It was a lively, very lively town. And who knows what the future brings, but I think there's a lot of possibilities. So yeah, in terms of infrastructure.
I have a quick question, I think, related to that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, hi, I didn't get to say hi earlier. Hi, I'm Hillary. I came in a little late. I see Nancy Barton. Hi. And I live right on the border of Lexington and Prattsville. But I'm in Lexington, to New York website, and there's a whole plan for development of Lexington. Yeah. And I'm like, just wondering, is this tied in? Is that having, it has like maker spaces, general store, like all the promenade, all that stuff. One, is there politics around that, thing with that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. There was a plan, I think, made with FEMA funding or similar government funding. And a lot of the ideas are good. They're interesting. Those, ironically, the 3 target areas addressed by those revitalization plans are private properties that the town single-handedly effectuate change on those lands. But we're in a position now to actually do it. Like all 3, being that Patrick, who's associated now with Mary Kaplan, and I and my wife, and say yes to projects that have to do with that. So those plans were sort of pie in the sky dreams, really, but they weren't. There wasn't funding for them. There isn't funding for them. And the ideas were kind of a wish list of what people wanted. And I think there's some things, and kind of coming from a small town's perspective, there's a lot of things that would be done differently and more incrementally. But I think that hopefully it answers your questions. We definitely something we can keep talking about in conversations.
I would just throw in terms of planning process that that plan was done after the Hurricane Irene situation happened, and Prattsville was there after being involved with that kind of community planning situation. And it is very complicated because people who do FEMA plans that's their job. That's what they do. And they have a certain kind of way that kind of, okay, we'll have this, and they have plans for large. At the same time, those kinds of plans are sometimes useful in garnering grant money and state allocations. So it's sort of like there's a mixed bag. They're really good. One woman around the corner said, oh, it looks like they're going to widen the street. Are they going to take my porch off? Or are they going to take my neighbor's porch off? So it's quite complicated. And I think it would be useful to, to look at those plans and see if there's any, sort of government or other kinds of funding that could be accessible at this, which is a flood remediation plan that is still, that still has money in it.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you so much, Nancy. I didn't know New York Rising. And Nancy, I know has offered, for everyone's knowledge, Nancy's through the many possible funding sources there are, and kind of attack the ones that are kind of most likely to move this sort of project forward. So thank you. I see there's two other, I see Danny. I don't know, Danny and somebody else. All right, go ahead.
I'm Danny Lappin. I arrived late. I'm sorry for being. My wife, Lindy Lappin, works with Nancy through the BOCES. I'm a professional planner in Otsego County. I heard about the discussion around strong towns, and I just wanted to offer help I could provide in planning, understanding zoning, environmental.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything I can do on a volunteer basis, let me know. I'd help.
That's a huge thumbs up to that. Thank you. Yeah,
I'm just here to listen. Since I'm not from the area, I just want to kind of get a pulse going on.
That's great. So I will put you in contact also with Ivan Hinneman, who's the architect / planner who gave me that book. Thank you very much for that, Danny. Thanks. Anybody else want to say anything?
I just have one quick question.
Sure.
Alex, when you say the post, the little building across the Schohari or where the country store used to be?
I think both. So I think it's the same building,
no,
right?
There's a little post office. You guys remember?
Oh, yeah. I call it the candy store. It looks like, right? It's next to Lexington Hotel.
Yeah, the little tiny building that it's now a house, but it used to be the little old post office.
No, sorry.
Okay,
the one next to the old post office next to Lexington Hotel is in disrepair. It's not used. I don't know when the last time it was used. I don't know, more than 10 years ago.
I believe it was the late 90s, actually.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
That's correct.
But that's not habitable or usable at the moment. But the building where the current post office is in fairly good shape, and that's we are looking to get there. Patrick can speak more to it, but he's also working to do something called the Lineland Sculpture Garden, which is his sculptural and meditation artwork, and it would be next to this general store, which there's a lot of plans. I think in one of these conversations, I would like to have put Ivan Hinneman, Nancy, and maybe even Danny if you're interested, and Patrick on it. I'm kind of in the hot seat right now by choice, but I think that answers the questions. John?
So, is there an actual nonprofit, Nancy, or some 501c3 that is actively sort of addressed in the county where funding could be sourced?
There's a range of different options. The Arts Center has its own 501c3, and we can operate as a fiscal sponsor for projects like many hundreds of thousands of dollars. We should go to a larger organization. The Greene County Council on the Arts is also a 501c3, and the Greene County government funded. The last thing that Ivan sent out was mentioning the idea that the town of Lexington might be planning to put together a 501c3, and it takes quite a while. And the town of Prattsville had what was called the Prattsville Development Corporation after the flood, and dissolved. But this idea of a development corporation is a language that's respected in the grants making community, the idea of a local development corporation. So they could probably put that together, but there is a fee, and it's a lot of energy to put together that, which if you have people on staff, it's possible. But I'm curious, Ivan, have you been in touch with the town government? How's that going? I'm sorry, Alex.
Right. I was like, I didn't know.
I've been teaching all day. So
yeah, no, it's all right. How is it being in terms of
like the Lexington town government?
Not enough, probably. I mean, I've been going to the meetings lately, and I've had personal contact with many people associated with the town. But in terms of anything, except we applied for an EDC grant last Empire State Development grant 2 years ago. But for a general store, because we don't have the not-for-profit status, and we weren't applying for it. It was basically for job creation. No, it was what was it? I forgot the EDC, and I think it was a 20% funding paid in arrears. So we were looking to general store on our property. And that was before I met Patrick. So, but no, I will start that conversation.
Well, it's a tricky conversation to have up here because Lexington less so. I mean, Prattsville definitely, you know, and I know that there was a lot of controversy about starting in Westkill, the Westkill Brewery, and I think there's a brewing company there, and it became really pretty. And at the Art Center, we have to. And so far, we've managed to do that, but we've also kept a lower profile.
Sorry, Nancy, I don't know if it broke. What you just said, I think broke up.
So there are a lot of different local agendas and factions that really get involved when there's development and also when there's money to steer clear of any feuding, which is really endemic to the mountaintop. You know, it's like the old time thing. And so I just think that's something for us to all be aware of. And as you
You're absolutely, and I think right now we're still in the development phase of the idea. We haven't taken any action, but before any ground is broken in terms of making changes that would in any way kind of change the nature of the neighborhood, we would have a meeting with not only our neighbors, but the town in general to really kind of see what the issues are. Revitalization plans that were set forth. There seems like there's a pretty good town hall and repeated conversations about the needs of the town. So I think those are kind of on display clearly. So this is also a nice forum in which to do it, and it's kind of non-threatening, and it's a nice place for free expression. So I do want to tell everyone, so it's 7:05. I am interested in doing this on too long, so we can have kind of predictable 6 to 7 o'clock slot if anyone is interested. If anybody wants to share their contact information, you can do so in the chat. And if anyone has any other closing comments.
Hey, this is Chris and Joseph. Our microphone wasn't working earlier, so sorry about that. But we are new residents of Lexington, and Joseph, and we are fixing up a house near Maple Hill Farms. We came up here, it's been a year actually, and we moved up here permanently since the pandemic. Also going through a process, like it used to be a general store. Joseph is do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi. I'm on the board also at the since maybe 2012, so have kind of gotten to know the area and some people around. It's a great place. Yeah, we're fixing up a large house and barn and doing like and we're hoping to turn it into a kind of dance center with a residency space.
Fantastic. So, there's a few other dancers and choreographers here on this chat. So if you'd like to leave your contact information, then cool. And it's Mosquito Point Roadhouse, right? Or Mosquito Point.
Yes.
It's on Instagram as what's the handle?
Yeah. Mosquito Point Roadhouse.
It is. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah.
It's the White House by Mosquito Point Bridge.
Nice. Okay. Well, I guess I'll probably put out another feel for same time next week in case anyone is interested.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much,
Good.
everyone. Have a good night.
Jamie, Alana says hi. Jamie, that Alana, my daughter, says hi. She knows my daughter. She was one of her mentors. Yeah,
Beautiful. Awesome. I think that Jamie may have signed up already.
To her next time. Let her know. I'll see you guys next week.
We'll do. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.